Yo, what's going on, bro? This is the first time in a while that I've been able to sit down and really think about a lot of things. And I actually found two of my journals I used to use when I was younger, and I wanted to dive through them with you guys. So the first one I have here is one that I didn't really use much. I may have like a few things written here. Yup. All right. Oh, wow. This is when I was planning the YouTube channel at first. This is way back. I was trying like different stuff, like I don't know, stuff that I thought was cool. I was gonna make a YouTube channel about that. It wasn't anything like purposeful, but wow, it's really weird seeing like all the old stuff you've written. All right, maybe something in here could really help you guys. So I guess the camera's gonna be backwards since I have the front-facing camera. But so the first page of this book, I wrote, "I feel like I haven't been enjoying basketball as much as usual. Why?" And I made a list of a bunch of possible things that are causing this. I wrote burnout, possibly, expectations versus reality, pressure, being too serious, worrying about what others are thinking about in the stands, trying to impress, bad amount of sleep or lack of energy, which leads to lack of motivation, forgetting why I play the game, too hard on myself, feel left out from the other guys, scared to make mistakes. And I wrote a check if I feel like I'm experiencing that, and an X if I didn't. I wrote a check for all of them except for two, burnout and trying to impress. Those were not the reasons why I wasn't enjoying the game, but everything else, yes. So I'm going to break down each and every single one of these. Expectations versus reality. So, if you're struggling in life with anything, whether it be a sport or just any adventure you have, expectations versus reality is a killer when you focus too much on results. Hold on, gotta drink from the chalice real quick. The chalice of water. Stay hydrated. And your expectations when it comes to results are 99% of times going to be missed. You're not going to be able to get those expectations. Shoot, I wanted a million subscribers on the YouTube channel when I was like 12 years old, and of course that never happened, right? So if you get too obsessed with the results, you're probably not going to put in the work to achieve said results. So for me, what I've realized in my 10 plus years of playing basketball, if you want to set good goals, it has to be very specific on what you're going to do to get there. So my goals aren't, okay, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Like I want to win X, Y, and Z. I say I'm going to put in the work for at least an hour a day in this set time in this set way. And that's what I do, and I accomplish those goals. And those are things that I control. Sometimes in life we can't control results. Shoot, God forbid, I might not get 1,000 points by the end of my high school career because I could get injured, or shoot, I could die. Like anything can happen. So play every game like it's your last, or do every action like it's your last, and whatever you love to do. The next is pressure. Oftentimes we put unwanted pressure on ourselves. It's unneeded. It's unnecessary. I'm not going to harp on this too much, but we expect a lot of ourselves, and that's very good. But once you start believing that you're not worth anything unless you do it, that's when it becomes a problem. Being too serious. I'm quite a serious guy myself. I was just hanging out with my friends yesterday for the first time in a while, and I felt bored for a lot of the time because I was thinking about work. I was thinking about what can I do to get better at basketball? What can I do to improve the YouTube channel? So on that day when I was driving around to get my friends, like I vlogged, right? I never stopped working on the YouTube channel because I love it so much. But I believe there is a certain time where you have to kick back and enjoy yourself outside of that. Maybe. I'm still trying to figure that out. So I can't really give the best advice on this, but try to find what works best for you. Worrying about what other people are thinking. This is a tough one because I still worry about what other people think all the time. Like I made videos talking about my deepest insecurities and what bothers me, what keeps me up at night on this channel, and I think, man, what if somebody that I know finds my channel and they start making fun of me and telling everybody about it? But I meditated on that fact and I realized it's okay. People can say what they want about you, but even if I'm all alone in this world, at least I still have my family, which is a blessing. But let's say I didn't even have my family, at least I have my faith, right? God's never going to leave you. He knows your heart. Trying to impress. Now, this was not a problem that I struggled with back then, but it's one that I actually struggle with now. I try to impress people that are watching, and I think, like, mostly coaches. Like, I don't want to disappoint. That's a better way to put it. I don't want to disappoint my coaches, right? It's not about making highlight reels for myself and stuff like that. I never really felt like that. I don't want to disappoint. And once again, that goes back to adding unwanted pressure. You don't want pressure that you don't need, right? So my advice for you for that is to play for yourself, or to do whatever it is that you do for yourself. And I have goals beyond just getting 1,000 points and winning a championship and that sort of thing. I want to make my father proud, and I've succeeded in that so far, and I want to keep doing that. That's what that's what I really care about. I'm trying to impress the right people now instead of all my coaches and people watching. My dad. Next one is bad amount of sleep or lack of energy, which leads to lack of motivation. I couldn't agree more. I was a smart kid, even though I was stupid. I was smart with certain things, right? This was probably around the period of time when I had like my first or second girlfriend, and yeah, I was probably staying up talking to them on the phone, and don't do that. It's not worth it. I know you may want to talk on the phone for hours and you don't want to get off. You want to stay on the FaceTime overnight. Stop, bro. It'll mess up your sleep schedule. It'll mess up the next day. Don't do it. All right. Tell her, hey, look, I'll talk to you tomorrow in school or at home or whatever. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I just have to get to sleep. Forgetting why I do what I do. What helps me the most is going back to when I originally started. When I was a young kid, maybe 4 or 5, like I said this in an interview, I was just playing on little Tykes nets. Like, I've always been playing the game of basketball, and I've always loved watching it, and I've always loved playing the game. So I get back to that. Whether it be me sitting in front of the TV watching an NBA game and just enjoying the history behind it, and sometimes I'll just play NBA 2K, make a 99 overall player, and just dunk on people. That's stuff that I used to always do as a kid, so every once in a while I like to tap back into that. Too hard on yourself. This one's another one where I gotta find a balance because I'm my biggest critic in the world. I'll be honest with you. But I also love myself more than anybody else. And the reason why I'm my biggest critic is because I know I can achieve success. So I think it's healthy, but I'm also the most competitive guy out there. So I don't know. I think I would do well with taking back a little bit, lowering how much I ask of myself at certain points. But I don't know. I'm not there yet. I still expect so much more out of myself every single day, and maybe one day, but not now. So feel left out from other people. Yeah, I still feel that way now. Now with my basketball team, everybody like they appreciate me and they're good friends with me, and like we're all cool now. When I was a freshman and sophomore, I was practicing with varsity sophomore year and freshman year, but I actually started playing towards the end of sophomore year, and I realized that there's a lot of cliques going on the varsity team. Thankfully, I've accomplished my goal of making sure we're all one team and there's no cliques anymore. I make sure that nobody's mean to freshmen and the younger guys either, because I never liked that when I was a freshman or sophomore, so why do it to them? But yes, when you start achieving, when you start being crazy and working out every single day, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning before school to play basketball, like people are going to think you're pretty weird, and you won't be able to relate to people either. Right? You won't have a hatred for people, but you'll just be like, man, why do they do what they do? Like, don't they realize that's bad for their mental health? Don't they realize that's terrible time management? You think of these things, and don't get an ego about it either. You still struggle with a lot of these things, so don't get an ego. But You got to find the people that are on your level or higher than you. For me, I relate to people that are older than me oftentimes, whether it be adults or my older brother and his friends. I always hung out with them as a kid, and they bullied me, but it toughened me up, so I'm grateful for it. The final one, afraid to make mistakes. A lot of young players struggle with this, and it's tough. It really is tough to break through that trap when you have coaches that are always yelling at you. Like if you make one little mistake, they get on you or they bench you. But if I were to go back and tell myself the best advice for dealing with mistakes, I would say, Mark, I would rather you get benched every single game because you tried something new than not try anything new at all and stay stagnant and don't get better. But by you trying something new every game, right? You can't do that unless you put in the work. So make sure you put in the work so that you can actually trust yourself to do those moves. And then when you do, if a coach takes you out of the game just because you made one mistake, that's a terrible coach. But, you can't do anything about that. Maybe you can move teams if it's really that bad, but try to work with them if you can and just have fun with the game, all right? Don't let the coach get in your head about benching you or yelling at you for making mistakes. Sticks and stones, right? All right, well, that's the end of this first page. You know what? I'm going to make a little series of reading my old journal. I'm very excited. As always, keep God first. Good luck.